Well sheltered at the end of the bay, Kuru stretches over several hundred hectares of varied nature. Outside of its pastures and plantations, the domain consists of natural forests, mangroves, and beaches. After more than a day's travel, Mauricio finally crosses the threshold which will take Newton to freedom. Adelina is delighted by each new arrival. In Mauricio's opinion, Newton is a handsome male with good potential for bringing new blood to the reserve. He'll share a separated cage with other spider monkeys. He's going to see his peers for the first time. Pepe, however, another male, is very vocal about not wanting to have a rival around. Newton is very frightened by his new environment and buries himself in his blanket, the last vestige of his life as a house pet.
No sabe subir a los árboles. O sea que hay que sacarlo con grado en trepador de árboles. No aquí. Imagínate que estando dentro de esta jaula, de la única manera.
All the spider monkeys taken in at Kuru come from the same background as Newton, an unwanted former house pet, or seized by customs officers and taken to often overcrowded zoos. Adelina notices that with Newton around, Pepe behaves like a male for the first time.
Entonces ahí es donde va a venir tal vez ellos tienen que decidirse, tiene que decidirse quién es el que va a mandar el grupo.
A ver, vamos a ver. Si lo ponemos aquí. Okay, ya entendí.
Adelina and Mauricio wonder if Newton knows how to climb. Actually, most of the monkeys they receive have never been up a tree.
O sea, como quien dice, hasta aquí llegamos, no más juego. ¿Qué pasó con vos? ¡Ay, qué animal, Dios mío!
El tigre vos en ese caso.
No, porque el tigre está en Profelis.
¿Ya se lo llevaron?
No, en esta película ya está en Profelis. Yo lo entregué.
Oh, eso era, entonces era pura filmación, ¿no? Diciendo que se le iban a entregar.
The next morning, before going back to see Newton, Adelina takes care of an orphaned baby howler monkey. As a single woman, breakfast is the only moment of the day she spends with her mother and her brother, Federico, who looks after the cattle and the mango plantations. Kuru has remained a farm by necessity, since ecological tourism does not provide enough of an income. Aldemar is 31 and a bachelor as well. For him, too, the day begins with bottle feeding the orphans on the reserve, which do not only include spider monkeys. There are deer, parrots, howler monkeys, lots of iguana, and some felines. Adelina next feeds Pepe and his companion, Fifi. Like Newton at present, they had no idea what was good for them. Gradually, they've learned to imitate the monkeys that arrived before them. Imitating one's peers in order to assimilate new behavior patterns is the principle on which the learning process leading to freedom is based. For the moment, Newton ignores the food, and Adelina has to give him a nutrition supplement. Meanwhile, Aldemar looks after the monkeys in the last cage before they gain their freedom. One of the females, Kukita, is on the verge of being freed. Just nearby, Aldemar places some fruit on a platform hanging in a tree to attract the monkeys already living in freedom. These individuals, glad to be able to take advantage of this easily obtainable food, don't hesitate to approach the cage and create social links with those still inside. It's vital that each monkey released be able to become a part of the group. The tracer collar, which most of the already freed monkeys wear, informs Adelina and Aldemar about the behavior and the movements of the group, enabling them to intervene if one of them strays from its peers.
Bueno.
A few days later, Adelina anesthetizes Pepe in order to transfer him to the final cage before being freed. It's time for him to take this vital new step, which in turn will enable Newton to enter the large cage, since putting two males together is something that must always be avoided.
Amor, ven acá. Ay, pollo lindo. Mi pollo lindo tortero. Pues la ventaja es que tampoco tenía nada en el estómago, así que... Vámonos.
Fifi is intrigued as she watches her longtime companion leave.
A ver, Newton, vení. Vení, 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 vení. Newton, vení, 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 vení. Vamos. Newton.
Since Newton doesn't seem to be in a hurry to take over his new home, Fifi comes to him. Meanwhile, Pepe gets acquainted with his new cage and his new companions.
Mira.
The instant he arrives is the moment chosen by Adelina and Aldemar to set Kukita free. Her cry of joy indicates that she has been waiting a long time for this moment. Now that he is in the big cage, Newton has to begin to eat fruit and vegetables. Before leaving it to Fifi to teach him, Aldemar tests Newton's reaction. Although he still refuses the food, there are encouraging signs. He doesn't move around the floor any longer, and he's given up his blanket. Finally, he lets himself be tempted. And even seems to like his new diet. Days later, Adelina and Aldemar ask Federico if he's seen Kukita, the female they recently set free. It seems she left her group and went beyond the reserve's limits. She was seen going along the road bordering the property. Equipped with an antenna, they go out looking for her. After several hours, Adelina finally captures a signal. Kukita is very close to the road.
Ay, Dios.
Toma. ¿Viste qué rico? Vení.
Venga,
Ve qué rico que está.
Kukita, venga. Vení. Kukita, venga. Ahora, no quiero tener el... No quiero tener el... Ven. Eso era. Okay.
The traditional system of using bait is just as effective as ever.
Tranquila. Tranquila. Eso es para que no se vaya a andar por quién sabe qué lugar. Ok. Vámonos. ¿Lista, Kukita? Vení, vení, vení. A ver, para afuera. Listo, ¿ves?
A little later, the monkey is released back into her group, in the hope that this time she'll remain one of them.
Yo creo que está media confundida, no sabe qué le pasó. Entonces, ¿qué? ¿Y esa barbaridad? Y no se vuelva a salir de la finca. Qué chiquita, ¿ah? Kukita, ¿qué pasó? Kukita.
For this group, the apprenticeship is over. They no longer wear tracer collars, and many of the females are expecting babies, the first to be born free on Kuru territory. In spite of the affection Adelina and Aldemar feel for the monkeys, they will avoid all contact with this new generation, which will take on the behavior of animals in the wild.